we see someone crying, our hearts often melt. But the story behind this girl's tears might change your mind. This young girl with an innocent face was, in fact, a monster who committed such a crime that the judge sentenced her to death by electric chair. This is the story of 20-year-old Christa Pike, who in 1995 committed a horrifying act that shocked the entire nation. This story begins on March 10, 1976, in West Virginia, USA, with the birth of Christa Pike to Carissa Hesson and Galen Pike. Christa's childhood was filled with difficulties. Her mother was an alcoholic, and even during her pregnancy, her addiction had a damaging effect on Christa's mind. Her parents frequently argued, leaving her in constant stress, and as a result, she spent most of her childhood with her grandmother. Friends, maintaining a healthy diet is the most basic and essential requirement to stay fit. What we eat directly impacts our body. Struggling to lose weight even with diet and exercise, you're not alone. For many, the problem lies in a slow metabolism. That's where Java Burn can help. Java Burn is a revolutionary, tasteless formula you simply add to your morning coffee. This potent blend boosts your metabolism, helping turn your body into a fat-burning machine. Just mix one packet into your coffee daily to unlock benefits like reduced cravings, enhanced energy, and visible fat loss within weeks. Ready to see results? Click the official link in the description to try Java Burn, backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. Your weight loss transformation is just a sip away. Living separately from her parents, Christa's grandmother was her source of love and support. To Christa, her grandmother was her only true comfort and the only person who loved her. But in 1988, her grandmother passed away, and this was a devastating blow for Christa. The loss of her grandmother was a massive blow for Christa, leaving her completely broken. At just 12 years old, she attempted to end her life for the first time. Though she wasn't successful, this was only the beginning, as her mental health continued to decline over time. Her mother, who was already deeply consumed by alcohol, tried taking Christa to various psychiatrists, but none could improve her mental condition. Her mother's new boyfriend also treated Christa very harshly, often beating her late at night with a belt while intoxicated. From a young age, Christa faced not only physical, but also mental and emotional abuse at home. Enduring all this, Christa's heart seemed to turn to stone. She had become completely numb. Feeling entirely numb, Christa decided at 18 to distance herself from her home. In 1994, she enrolled at Tennessee University, joining a nursing program. There, she met Colin Slim, and the two became close friends and eventually started living together. However, the story doesn't end there. A new twist came into Christa's life when she met a boy named Tatterall Shipp, and they began dating. Tatterall was no ordinary guy. He was part of a cult that worshipped Satan, with members who believed in black magic, sacrifices, and violence. Gradually, Christa became influenced by the cult's ideology. Tatterall took great care of her, making Christa feel safe and secure in his presence. She thought Tatterall was the only one who had truly cared for her since her grandmother. However, this love had a dark side, one that had yet to be revealed, but it would soon emerge in a terrifying way. The terrifying reality of Christa's possessive obsession with Tatterall soon surfaced in a way that would shock the entire nation. Gradually, Christa began feeling possessive about Tatterall, fearing that Colleen was trying to take her boyfriend away from her. Already, Christa had lost everything, her family and her beloved grandmother. Now, with her only source of love and stability threatened, she was unable to tolerate the idea of another girl coming close to Tatterall. One day, a simple argument between Christa and Colleen escalated into a physical fight in their dorm, which pushed Christa to make a fateful decision. She planned to end Colleen's chapter permanently. She discussed her plan with Tatterall, who agreed to be the part of this sinister scheme. They also brought in Shadola Peterson, a girl who, like Tatterall, believed in dark forces. The night of January 12th, 1995, would be the night Christa decided to carry out her horrifying plan. She lured Colleen into a dense forest near the university, tempting her with the promise of a high. At around 8 p.m., the 4 students, Colleen Slemmer, Christa Pike, Tatterall Shipp, and Shadola Peterson, headed into the forest. Once deep in the darkness of the woods, Christa initiated a fight with Colleen over her boyfriend. Sensing something strange about their behavior, Colleen felt an instinctive dread and attempted to escape. But it was too late. As Colleen tried to run, Christa grabbed her by the hair, slamming her head against her knee, which knocked Colleen to the ground. Without hesitation, Christa began ruthlessly beating her, despite Colleen's desperate pleas for an explanation. When Colleen tried to stand up and leave, Tatterall intercepted her, preventing her escape. Christa then took the knife and continued with her aggressive behavior, refusing to let Colleen go. Perhaps that's why Colleen now realized that it was impossible for her to survive. Yet, she begged for her life, telling them that if they let her go, she would immediately return to her city and not stay there anymore. However, Krishna had no trace of pity in her heart. As Colleen continued to speak, Krishna displayed even more cruelty. She kicked Colleen hard in the face, and Christa and Drill began to torture Colleen slowly. Meanwhile, Shadow was keeping watch to see if anyone was approaching or if anyone was watching them, essentially acting as a lookout. Colleen's breaths were still intact, but a strange rumbling sound began to emanate from her, as if her last moments were upon her. Yet Krishna's anger had not subsided. She repeatedly grabbed Colleen by the neck, but Colleen's breaths still persisted. With a last glimmer of hope for survival, Colleen tried several times to plead for her life. However, this time Christa and Drill struck her head with a rock, and Colleen fell to the ground once again. This ordeal continued for about 45 minutes. Drill marked a pentagram on her chest, which was a symbol of satanic worship. Throughout this process, Colleen never fell unconscious for even a moment. She felt every bit of pain with every passing second. Finally, Krishna picked up a large stone, and you would be surprised to know that Christa took a piece of her head as a trophy, slipping it into her jacket pocket. The 3 of them then returned to the hostel, as if nothing had happened. Upon their return, their behavior was completely normal, as if they had just played a game or won a trophy. Christa called her roommate and joyfully recounted this horrific incident, even showing her the piece of Colleen as the trophy they had brought back. When her roommate saw this dangerous truth, she was shocked. However, Christa didn't care at all. The next morning, a passerby near the forest noticed Colleen's lifeless body. The condition of the corpse was so horrific that identifying her was nearly impossible. He immediately notified the police. Upon arriving at the scene and seeing the body, the officers were equally astonished. It appeared as if a wild animal had made Colleen its prey. The police quickly sealed off the area and began their investigation. During the inquiry, they discovered that 4 students had signed out of the hostel that night, but only 3 had returned. This information pointed suspicion directly at Christa, Drill, and Sedora. When the police conducted interviews at the university, more unsettling details emerged. They found Krishna's jacket in an office on campus, containing a piece of Colleen, which left the officers in shock. It was the same fragment that had been in her pocket. Additionally, Bloodstains were found on Christa's jeans. This evidence was sufficient for the police, and within 36 hours they arrested all 3 suspects. They first interrogated Krishna, who confessed her crime without hesitation. She provided the police with a detailed account of the incident, chilling them to the core. Based on her statement and the other evidence, the police prepared a lengthy 42-page confession. The hearing for Krishna's case took place on March 22nd, 1996. As the judge and everyone else listened to the details of the case, they were left in shock. The judge sentenced Krishna to the electric chair, bringing her life to an end. Krishna was sentenced to death, while Drill received a life sentence. Sedora, who had acted as a lookout, was released in exchange for testifying against Christa and Drill. However, while in prison, Christa wrote a letter to Drill, stating that she had shown mercy to Colin by lifting that large stone, so she wouldn't have to suffer any more pain. Nonetheless, the court did not take this statement seriously, as it seemed unconvincing, and upheld its decision. Krishna made several appeals to have her sentence reduced, but each one was rejected. To this day, a date for Krishna's execution has not been set, but Colin's family still waits for justice to be served, hoping that it will bring peace to her soul. This incident shook the entire nation of America, revealing the horrifying story behind what seemed like an innocent face. See you next video.